Everybody at some point in their lives have been through it, whether you're fat or you're thin.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like thin people are spared from body shaming.
I've been through it, you know. I've been sort of spoken about, whether it's in the press or otherwise, or before starting a film, अरे और थोड़ा lose कर लो, और थोड़ा lose कर लो. And the more conversation is only about your bodies, आप वहीं stuck होके रह जाओगे.
A woman can be beautiful in all sizes.
Yes.
You know, gorgeous in every shape. It's up to the media to be more responsible with what they kind of report and how they speak about women and their bodies. The only shift maybe is that I've just become greedier in terms of the kind of roles that I want to do.
Okay. Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pinkvilla. Today we have with us two very special guests, Sonakshi Sinha and Huma Qureshi. Welcome to Pinkvilla, guys. It's lovely having you here firstly.
Thank you very much.
And you know, firstly, the trailer of XXL has a very heartwarming vibe to it. And it is loaded with so much humor. So how did you first react when this script come your way? For the both of you.
You want to tell the story?
No, I think
you should tell the story.
So basically, first the casting was done. We were having in her living room. 5-6 of us friends were there, including the writer of the film, Mudassir Aziz, and we decided, and we were complaining about our weight, how much weight we've put on in the lockdown.
Okay.
So he got this idea and he said, you know what, there should be a film made on this because you guys are looking absolutely fine and all you'll keep talking about is your weight. And we are two people who've been through it in our growing up years. We've been through it through the journey of our careers. Body shaming, so to speak, and we were just on board because we related so much to the idea. And we were like, yes, we have to do this. And so the casting was done first, and then the film was made.
Okay. So you know, when you were having those conversations, and after that, when the script actually materialized to this,
right?
How long was that process, and what was your reaction on hearing the entire?
Actually, very quick. Within 2 months, I think.
The script was ready, and
and
then 2-3 months, and then by the time we got to filming, it was about 8-9 months from the script being made with pre-production, everything in order, and here we are. The film is releasing now, and we are very, very proud to be a part of this film because like everybody's seen the trailer now, and the kind of reaction we've got is that people can relate to it, and everybody at some point in their lives have been through it, whether you're fat or you're thin. You know, it's not like thin people are spared from body shaming also. So everybody kind of relates to this, and that's what we wanted to talk about. We as women have just too much pressure on us to kind of look a certain way, dress a certain way, and amongst other things. So I feel it was just a conversation that we wanted to have with our audience.
And Huma, for you, like, how do you view like everything that Sonakshi said? How do you view that in terms of today's society, the way people expect women or men to look, or body shaming and all those aspects?
Well, we both have suffered it. I think if either Sona and I had said no to the idea, or we were not brave enough to do it, I don't think the film would have happened. I mean, it's also testimony to the fact that yes, definitely there's a need to have this conversation because there's definitely a lot of pressure on young women, especially to look a certain way or to subscribe to that. But I feel like, it's such a misplaced notion. I've been through it, I've been sort of spoken about, whether it's in the press or otherwise, or before starting a film, अरे और थोड़ा lose कर लो, और थोड़ा lose कर लो. And sometimes you're part of projects, there's no conversation about your character or what you're going to do. It's just about how you're going to look. And I find that a little like disrespectful because I feel as female actors also, there's so much more we can contribute towards the creative process of doing a film as opposed to just being a beautiful accessory. And the more conversation is only about your bodies, आप वहीं stuck होके रह जाओगे. So somewhere that needs to shift a little away. If you're 2-3 kilos here or there, it's not going to make a difference to anybody's life. And back in the day also, like earlier heroines, there was no conversation about how big they were. The conversation about how beautiful they were, or how good they were, or how well they performed a scene, and what their connection with the audience was. Today I feel it's so much cosmetic as opposed to really being real, authentic, and having that connection with the audience. So I feel the conversation has to shift from women's bodies to their achievements, their talent, their personalities, all of those things.
The two of you think the conversations have shifted in this direction more after the social media age? Because till maybe the mid 2000s and all, we all used to speak about performances, and even from actors, there was never that perfect body.
Who used to speak? The media.
Media, everyone.
So then
even on social, like the coverage that happens on social media nowadays, it's all about what she's wearing. Oh, this is not looking good.
नहीं वो होना चाहिए, but I'm saying there has to be representation of all sorts of people.
Correct.
Why is
And
only
also-
one kind of beauty beautiful?
Yeah, correct.
That's all.
Yeah,
we're
that's
saying.
something that didn't. I believe that didn't happen back in the day when there were a lot of other aspects also discussed about actors and actresses.
I think it does have some role to play in it because it's such a visual medium.
Yeah.
And what we have been fed our whole lives is this particular standard of beauty, which is not true. It doesn't uphold with everyone. Like, and I believe a woman can be beautiful in all sizes.
Yes.
You know, gorgeous in every shape. So that is not something that has been carried forward. People are just subscribing to that standard of beauty which has been set by people who we don't know who they are.
Faceless.
So yeah, so I think that's what's happening. And yes, of course, it's up to us to kind of change, take the conversation in a different direction. It's up to the media to be more responsible with what they kind of report and how they speak about women and their bodies and their work and their achievements. I think that once that starts happening, we'll be headed in the right direction.
But you know, when the two of you made your acting debut, did any such instances happen with you? You made a debut with a blockbuster like Dabangg, of course. So, like before that, were there any conversations where, you know, which early days of your career, you don't have that much power to make that choice, but back of the mind, kuch aisa hota hai?
No, absolutely. In fact, when I made my debut, I had come from being 95 kilos and I had become 60 kilos and people were still talking about my weight. For me, it was a huge achievement to lose that kind of weight and do a part in a film of that magnitude and kind of be appreciated for it. Like whereas where the audience was appreciating my work, the people who were writing about me were writing about my weight. So it was very bizarre. Like I was so conflicted. I was like, मैं खुश हूँ या नहीं हूँ? So and you're young at that point in time. You know, you don't understand why people who don't know you at all are making these kind of comments. So, but you learn.
Disheartening for a
Yeah,
person
it's also
who's just started a career.
But actually, during Dabangg, I remember I watched it in theatre. Actually, so many people spoke about the dialogues that you had in the film, and "Thappad se darne lagta" became synonymous with you.
Yeah, so I think that's what I had to kind of hold on to and just move ahead with, just kind of ignoring this chatter about the way I looked and my weight or whatever. And the only problem was the thing that they were writing was, oh, she does not look like the other heroine. She does not fit the mold of her.
And what is this
of the
mold
other
of a heroine?
Exactly. What is that mold? Who said that mold?
Yeah.
Who told me I can't look like how I'm looking? So I just had to kind of ignore that and pave my own path. And honestly, for like years after that, people, the only thing that they wanted to speak about was my weight until I embraced it. I said, you know what? It's not like because of my weight I'm not getting work. I'm doing a lot of work. I'm very busy. I don't have time to talk to you about it. बात करना है मेरे काम के बारे में करो वरना निकलो यहाँ से.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Huma, for you?
Well, for me also, I think when it happened with me, and I've said this before, like, you know, I think my second film, you know, after Gangs, I did this film and a reviewer actually wrote that, oh, Huma Qureshi is lovely, but she's 5 kgs too heavy to be a mainstream heroine. And, you know, for a person who's worked so hard to come to Bombay and to get a film and to do the film and for that film to release and then to have that kind of a thing was very disheartening. It was very heartbreaking. And throughout my career, I've always been trolled for my weight, and I feel like, but despite that, I've always been working, I've always been busy, and I've done all sorts of films. I've been working 10 years in the business. So that clearly is not true, right? If it actually affected my work, then I wouldn't be sitting over here.
True.
So clearly it's a very false narrative that is being pushed out. ऐसा सच नहीं है. But yes, what we are doing through social media, through other ways, we are constantly telling people कि अगर आप ऐसे नहीं हो तो आप में कुछ गड़बड़ है. There's something wrong with you, which is so unhealthy, you know, which is so negative. And I feel like we need to empower young girls and boys to feel happy in their own skin, to feel beautiful, as opposed to feeling like there's something wrong with them, because, you know, that's not the kind of society we want to live in.
True.
And anyway, what we do is hard. You know, what we do is really, really hard, and to put that extra pressure of everybody should look like one person.
Yeah, that is too much.
You know, and that's just too much.
Yeah. And you know, when a film is made on a subject which touches upon a social issue as such, there's a thin line which you can't cross. So when you heard the narration or when you read the script,
forget social issue. It was for, I think, for both of us a personal issue.
I have used. No, I'm saying for the audience. Like there are so many people.
And for them also, it will be therapeutic. For me, this film was therapy. I wanted to do. I've been told my whole life I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl. I wanted to do this film. We all both put on weight. I put on 15-20 kilos. I saw myself. I'm like, I'm not a big girl. This is a character I'm playing. This is a big girl. This is me. I'm very beautiful, and I don't want to listen to any chatter about it anymore.
No, so my question was, there's a very thin line which is there, where people get offended with certain aspects shown in the film or taken out of context. So when the two of you were reading the script or got the narration, were there some factors which you were skeptical about in any aspect?
Not really, because it's all.
But the only thing we were careful about was that we didn't want, it's not an anti-thin people film.
Yeah.
That we were very conscious about, because even thin people get body shamed.
Yeah.
कि कितनी पतली है, खाना नहीं खाती, इसको रोटी खिला दो.
Yeah. And of course, we didn't want it to look like we were making fun of anybody. So, and honestly, like I feel we were the best suited to do these roles because it's something that we've been through. So we know what hurts, what doesn't, what we can take, what we can't. And that also kind of really helped in us playing the characters we were given to play. Like for me, I really relate with Saira because like that was me in my college days. Like I was studying fashion designing. I was going through life where I was living in I was in a place where everybody around me just concentrated on the way they looked and what size they were and what diet they were following and what clothes they want to wear. And to be a big girl in that sort of environment is difficult.
True.
And I could really relate with that character. So I think we were just really, really suitable to play these two. And we were, it was very, very close to us.
Yeah. And the film is seeing a theatrical release. You both have been here for 10 years and the dynamics of box office have changed massively post the pandemic. That is something we all have slowly started accepting. How do you view that aspect for this film? Do you have some sort of pressure or do you like how do you view, what's your...
Honestly, it's very uncertain. We don't know what's happening. We are hoping that, good things come out from this film as well. But you can't say, but that shouldn't be something to stop us, right?
Yeah.
Like the cinema is where we all began and it's that experience is never going to change of watching a film on the big screen with your family, having that tub of popcorn. That's a different experience in itself. So we hope that people go and enjoy this film in the theatres because it's something that they should watch with their families, men, women, children, with their brothers, sisters, because how many times your brothers only are like, oh, moti this, moti that. They keep teasing their sisters. Mothers keep telling their daughters, "Arey moti ho gayi, kam kha, kam kha." I think everybody will have something to take away from this film, and so it is a film that should be watched in the theaters with your family.
I mean, to be honest, I'm a little nervous because it is an uncertain time.
It is uncertain,
So we don't really know what's going to happen. But यार हमने ना ये film बहुत दिल से बनाई है और बहुत कहते ना brave होके और bare होके बनाई है. तो अगर ये theater में लोग नहीं देखेंगे तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगेगा. मेरा दिल तो टूटेगा. So I'm really hoping people, the story of the film, the story of both these girls, these characters, it really resonates with them. I felt after the trailer reaction today that it really did touch a lot of people. There were some tears, there was some laughter, while watching it on the big screen together. So I'm really hoping it'll touch a chord with every girl, every boy across the country. And they will step out and they'll buy a ticket and they'll buy a small tub of popcorn and they'll watch it.
Watch it together. And you just spoke about how watching film on the big screen is magical, like an experience. Do the two of you, which is the most memorable film watching experience for the two of you on the big screen? With
so many.
Yeah.
So many.
But there is always that one which stands out, this was special.
I think the first film I went with my group of friends when I was in school, to a theatre alone, unsupervised, was Heera. And that is my most memorable experience because what a film, first of all. How much we have laughed, and that was my first kind of, taste of independence. Going out alone with the kids, just, us. So that'll be very, very memorable to me.
And I think for me, हमारे घर के पास ना, मैं दिल्ली से हूँ तो कालका जी में अभी शायद नहीं है, एक सिंगल स्क्रीन होता था पारस थिएटर करके. So वहाँ पे जुरासिक पार्क लगी थी. And I remember watching that. It's a proper single screen experience. And वो तब सीट भी टूटी हुई थी और की आवाज करती थी. And I remember watching the big dinosaurs for the first time. I think that was the most thrilling thing I had ever seen in my life. So every time the dinosaur would try and leap at a character, I would also jump in my chair. So that was very, very special. Very special, yeah.
And which is that one character or performance that inspired you to become an actor? Okay, ये देखा and you're like, even I want to do this.
90 cinema kid. If I have to say, I don't think there's a singular performance for me, but I would say all the cinemas while I was growing up of the 90s is what I really enjoyed.
Okay.
I grew up never wanting to be an actor. So for me it was, this moment really sticks out because I felt, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to be or not, but I saw Aja Nachne and I saw Madhuri ji dancing in that song.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, if I ever become an actor, I would want to be like this. Like so graceful and so just so amazing.
Yeah.
So, but that was just a fleeting thought because I didn't even know if I wanted to act. So
I think 3 years after Aja Nachle, you made your
Yeah.
debut with
Not
2007 and 2010. Yeah.
yeah.
And you know, is there do the two of you have any regrets in terms of a film which was offered to you, you let it go, and then when it released on the big screen, you're like, shit, I should have done it.
I have a couple, but I don't hold that grudge or anything. I mean, I feel that whatever role is written for you, whoever it's written for, ultimately that person will do it. So, अगर मेरे नसीब में नहीं था, वो नहीं होगा. अगर है, तो वही होगा.
And Huma, did you?
I agree. There have been a few, but like again, I agree with Sona. Like it's never about you know, the regret of it. I think you just move on and you go on to other things. But I mean, I take responsibility for that because I feel like maybe at that point in time I was not ready to take on that because I did go through that phase where I was just not doing too many films because I was maybe scared or unsure, and I was trying to hide behind not doing too much.
Yeah, correct. And you know, cinema in today's time in terms of the kind of transition that it has gone through in the pandemic times, it is massive. When you are selecting scripts now, what are the aspects that have changed for the two of you vis-a-vis the pre-pandemic times?
Honestly, for me, nothing. Because I'm instinctive, I always have been. If there's a film that I feel like I would like to watch it on the big screen, I'll do that film. And I'm just function from my heart basically.
Yeah.
Like I have to like it or not like it at the time that I hear it. And that's how I've always chosen my films. And I feel now also like the only shift maybe is that I've just become greedier in terms of the kind of roles that I want to do.
Okay.
They have to be challenging me in some particular way or something very, very different from what I've done before.
Okay.
So that is the thought process, but still instinctive only.
But no changes in approach to.
No, not really, not for me.
And for you?
I think for me the pandemic has been a huge shifter in terms of how I was thinking. I think for me, like, I think when I came to Bombay, I was a far more, you know, experimentative person. I was doing so much, and then I think I reached a phase where I was just very scared and very unsure because I was listening to so many people giving you all sorts of advice, right? Yeah. Also, if you're not from Bombay, it's different, right? Because you don't even have your mom and dad who you can consult. I mean, not that it really makes a difference, but sometimes it's just good to have somebody to discuss things options with or whatever. And I think I lost my way somewhere in the middle. So the pandemic for me was kind of a game changer for me because I really was like, okay, if tomorrow I die, because you know you were seeing so much death and uncertainty around, like what would I have left in the world? Like as an actor, as who who decided to become an actor, who really passionately believed in it. And I was like, nothing really. You know, and I think that helped me reorient the choice of things I was picking or attracting to myself. And I think it's really been a big shifter in terms of how I'm looking at my work and what I want to leave out in the world.
Now, what are the upcoming films for the two of you like after
Double XL?
Yeah.
I have my series with Amazon coming up, The Hard, and then I've done a film with Sakib only called Kakuda with RSVP, and yeah, these are my two upcoming projects.
I have a release, in fact, almost a week after Double XL, a film on Netflix called Monica, My Darling.
Oh yes.
So that's coming out. Then I have next year will be Tarla, which I finished shooting for, and Pooja Meri Jaan.
Right. And the two of you are also doing Heera Mandi. You can't.
Are you?
Am I?
Are you?
Am I?
Are you?
Am I? What is this story? Everyone's assuming, are you doing Heera Mandi? Why do you think I'm doing Heera Mandi?
We have heard of it that you are doing Heera Mandi.
Have you asked Sanjay sir? I think you must ask him.
It's just speculation. I think you should call up Sanjay sir.
I think you should ask him.
Sir, सच बता दो.
Sir, सच बता दो.
Sanjay sir never answers any message.
तो हम ही मिले. He doesn't answer, तुम बताओ.
And Sonakshi, is anything happening on Dabangg front? Because there have been reports. I think even Salman sir said Tigmanshu is writing the 4th part. So
not that I know of.
Not that.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much. It was lovely speaking to the two of you, and wish you all the best for
Thank you. We're sorry for all the lies Sona told you.
I'm sorry that if your ears have got puckered because of her talking constant chatter.
No, but it was fun.
It was great, Pinkvilla.
Hi, this is Sonakshi Sinha.
Hi, this is Huma Qureshi.
And you're watching Pinkvilla.